Another week, another round of Preds. I've been getting these almost embarrassingly wrong, so I have to stop giving a fuck. Here we go. We started out with the week with the Chengdu Hunters versus Gangzhou charge. I know Custis is really high in the charge, but I haven't been uber impressed. They were good, but they played Valiant and Fusion very close, whereas Hunters decisively beat down in Fusion. Jimmy definitely fucks, but Lee fucks harder, and the man is absurdly good, and I expect him to utterly diff Jimmy. Though Jimmy is popping off right now. I give it to Chengdu 3-1, though the old Hunters buff could come into play here. Next up, we have the Shanghai Dragons taking on the Los Angeles Valiant. I think this goes to Shanghai in a pretty clean sweep. No member of Valiant can come close to the Dragons, and Valiant are pretty easily the worst team in this meta. I give it to Shanghai in a sweep. Next up, we have the Atlanta Reign taking on the Los Angeles Gladiators. This is a really spicy match, but the teams are trying to keep their tournament hopes alive, and the only way for the Glads to qualify is for them to beat the Reign 3-1 or better. But I don't think the Glads beat the Reign here. I've seen nothing from the Gladiators to suggest that they have improved past what we saw past week 2. I don't think Space Junker Queen is the answer. It was not very impressive to me. Meanwhile, Reign have been massive improvements in the roster that makes them a solid top 5 team now. With more time for Speedly and Vigilante to gel with their roster, Speedly especially. I mean, the kid only had 3 days to scrim with the team before their Spitfire match. I think they should get the upper hand over a struggling and mentally done Gladiators. Reign get themselves to take it to Toronto and win in a 5-map banger. Next up, we have the Paris Eternal taking on New York Excelsior. New York 3-0. Next up is another Giga banger, San Francisco Shock versus the Dallas Fuel. Shock are trying to continue their monstrous win streak and secure the first seed, while Fuel are trying to secure first seed and take revenge for their last match. So who takes it in the end? It's tough. Both teams have insane levels of synergy, but I give it to the Shock for a few reasons. Firstly, it's the Shock. They are always getting better, and they are more clutch when it matters than the Fuel in my opinion. But another huge reason is, well, motherfucking Proper. He's probably the best Genji in the region. Some of the things he does is just magical, and he's historically been better than Sparkle this year. I think Fuel are more prone to dumb mistakes. There's a reason why Shock have performed better than Fuel on an almost identical schedule. I give it to Shock in a 5-mapper. Next up, we have the Hangzhou Spark taking on the Gangster charge. This is a tough one, and I could definitely see the charge taking this one. Charge are on a pretty big upswing, and Spark are struggling. However, I do think Spark take it here. Spark beat the Valiant much more decisively than the Charge did, and they have motherfucking Shy. And with Alfie mixing more into the roster, I want to say Spark take it 3-1, but this is losable for them. Next up, Valiant versus Hunters. I say Hunter 3-0. They look so damn good right now, and Valiant are just struggling so hard. I want to give them a map, but I just can't. Next up, Seoul versus Philadelphia. Again, Seoul look way too good right now, and Philly just looks way too bad. I can't justify giving them anything else than a 3-0. Next up, we have the Florida Mayhem taking on the Paris Eternal. Florida 3-0. Next up, we have the Washington Justice taking on the Houston Outlaws. Well, I do like Washington a lot and would love to give it to them. Outlaws are just so good, maybe even a top 3 team right now. I take them over Justice on every position. Even Assassin and Decay or Diff by Pelican and Mare on a good day. Could Houston throw? Absolutely. But Justice throw more. Plus, I mean, Houston dominated Titans who beat Justice. It's only logical, right? Houston takes it 3-1 with Justice snaking a map win. Next up, we have the Titans taking on the Boston Uprising. This should be a pretty easy win for the Titans. Boston are already qualified for Toronto, while Titans are just trying to secure their spot and are playing much more confidently. I give it to Titans 3-1. Next up, we have the Philadelphia Fusion taking on the Hangzhou Spark. I'm saying Fusion here. I have no reasoning. By all accounts, Spark should be better, with a double Fusion match. It's basically guaranteed to be an upset. I say Fusion take it 3-2, as my points suffer even more. Next up, Seoul versus Shanghai. I think I'll take another chance and go with Shanghai. I've been more impressed with Who Are You and Lips than Fitz and Stalker personally, and the supporters and tanks are close as well. Hell, Void might even be better than Smurf right now. I do think Seoul has been more decisive and made less mistakes than Shanghai, but I like Shanghai's DPS more here. Let's see how it plays out. Shanghai take it 3-2. Next up, we have the Toronto Defiant taking on the London Spitfire. The Defiant just looks so good right now. I expect London to keep forcing the May and just be dominated by Hisu and Aldo. I don't think their issues will really get worked out, as it's really just an issue with Backbone and his hero pool, and the way they run the comp. I see Defiant take it 3-1, with maybe London taking a funny map like Nepal, or something. Next up, the Florida Mayhem taking on the New York Excelsior. This could be a banger. Both teams fighting to keep their chances of the midseason menace alive. I do favor Florida here, though. If their off-meta comps can give Dallas some trouble, I think New York, being the uncoordinated mess they are, will have issues as well. And ultimately, I think Checkmate and Hydron are good enough to keep Flora Yaki in check, if not win outright. I give it to Florida 3-2, with New York choking yet another winnable game. That's it for this week's spread. Sorry if you listening to me for some reason, and I wind up going almost negative again. Oops. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe for more. I upload nearly daily Overwatch League content, and I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.